Well, the trailer for the long-awaited Indiana Jones sequel has finally been unearthed. And great news, it's so good you can look directly at it without fear of having your face melted off. The bad news is that despite official statements regarding the plot elements of the film, the 2-minute montage has only riled up clickbait rumors that are more dangerous than a tomb full of snakes.
Why did it have to be snakes?
But since I've never been accused of wanting or knowing how to get more clicks, I'm here to tell you the truth about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Yeah, that's the title. Which, for 80s kids like me, invokes images of Indy receiving an ominous call on a rotary phone. Or losing a battle with an errant bar of soap. I suppose the Laster Crusade wasn't available. But I digress. Overall, the trailer looks great. It appears that director James Mangold has returned to the tone and the literal face of what we'd come to expect from Indy's early globe-trotting adventures. And while one visual effect in particular is about as convincing as Shia LaBeouf swinging with monkeys, much of the footage appears to have been shot practically. But the most impressive image of the trailer is the result of the VFX trickery that has long eluded CG artists. The de-aging of a character and young Indiana Jones. No, not that one. No, not that one. That one looks flawless. Unfortunately, it's these few seconds of footage that has YouTube hucksters absolutely squirming. That's because they believe, or at least they pretend to believe, that the appearance of a 40-year-old Indy proves one of the oldest rumors about the upcoming sequel, that Indiana Jones's final adventure will feature time travel. Now, admittedly, injecting science fiction into what have otherwise been fairly grounded adventure films with a touch of fantasy isn't without precedent. After all, the MacGuffin of Indy's last outing was extraterrestrials.
They're not extraterrestrials, they're interdimensional.
I mean, interdimensional beings.
Fine.
But the ending of that film and other elements of its atomic age setting rendered it the most polarizing and least liked of the franchise. Even Steven Spielberg, who directed it, didn't like the explanation for the film's mysterious skull. So, it's hard to believe that Spielberg, now as executive producer of the upcoming sequel, would repeat another genre-breaking misstep. But that didn't stop the internet personalities who live off clicks like Saifu
What? Big damn ass, go!
Duflesh from insisting unnamed sources had assured them time travel would be featured in Indy's last adventure. What is most frustrating about these, and I hesitate to call them rumors, because it's plausible that these YouTubers are conjuring them themselves, only to then attribute the rumors to some, quote, unnamed source. Anyway, what's most frustrating is that these fraudsters are using the trailer as proof of the time travel chicanery, despite the creators of the film explaining the reason for the de-aged Indy a week earlier. In an interview in the November issue of Empire magazine, director Mangold explained that the initial scene of the film is a flashback set in 1944 and will be the only one in which the star is digitally de-aged. Mangold said he, quote, wanted the chance to dive into this kind of full-on George Lucas and Steven Spielberg old picture and give the audience an adrenaline blast. In other words, he wanted to open the film with an action set piece that not only had the same spirit as the original films, but also the same look. And that also required the same look of a 40-year-old Indiana Jones. Then, Mangold explains, the film flashes forward to 1969, when the movie's main action takes place. But there's also an in-story justification for the time jump. Based on information provided by the filmmakers, it seems Indy resumes pursuing a character that eluded him in the 1944 set opening. That character is played by Mads Mikkelsen, and he's a Nazi. You'll note that Mikkelsen also appears to have been de-aged in the trailer. In spite of this, immediately after the trailer dropped, conspiracy peddling YouTubers returned to their channels, citing the clip as evidence they claim that proves the now debunked rumor. And sure, in recent years, we've been lied to by Hollywood on some rare occasions to protect a plot point or actor cameo, but studios far more often address so-called leaks by not addressing them at all. And this is where these self-professed objective YouTubers reveal their hand. Although they claim they're simply reporting an unsubstantiated rumor so you can decide its veracity, they do not equally or objectively report actual evidence to the contrary. Instead, they denounce official sources as untrustworthy while they continue to repeat their own falsehoods. In an ironic twist, these are the same propaganda techniques perfected by a certain German-based group that Indiana Jones returns to fighting in this upcoming sequel.
Nazis. I hate these guys.
Hey, I get it. It may be more attractive to believe the flashy, complicated explanation for something that you don't yet understand. But if you truly admire the character of Indiana Jones, you know to be suspicious of someone who tells you to trust no one.
He chose one.
And you also know that the simplest and most humble explanation usually reveals the truth.
You have chosen wisely.
But who do you believe? Some anonymous YouTuber who quotes an anonymous source, or the actual filmmakers? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe, and check out our weekly 1980s pop culture podcast, 1980s Now. It's available on all podcast platforms, and there's a link in the comments below.